Hey, what's up everyone? My name's Chris, and this is my brother Brian. Today we want to talk to you about BOA ski boots.
Is this the future of foot comfort, or is this just a fad?
Let's dive into it. Before we dive into the details of BOA ski boots, let's first talk about how BOA came to be. Back in 2001, Gary Hammerslag invented the BOA system because he was tired of lacing up his snowboard boots and having to take off his gloves.
Now, over 300 brands utilize the BOA fit system.
That's right, everything from mountain bike shoes, hiking boots, and even archery equipment. Not to mention ski boots. Utilize the BOA system. Today, manufacturers of ski boots seem to be BOAing everything, both on the foot, and some of the newest models even have BOA for the cuff of the boot. Dual BOAs, that's right, more BOAs, sometimes more better. We'll talk about that, we'll find out.
So K2, Salomon, Atomic, and Nordica is doing that right now. And K2 actually states that have 50,000 hours of research and development in their new dual BOA fit systems.
That's a lot of R&D for a ski boot, but maybe it's great out on the trail. But today's video is just gonna be focused on the BOA for the foot, because that's all that I really have experience with. But I think a lot of the information that I'm gonna share will pass over to the dual BOA boots as well. Real quick, before we jump into the benefits and downfalls of the BOA boot system, can I ask you to hit the subscribe button and hit the like button for this video? We're only 27 subscribers away from reaching our 1,000 subscriber goal. It would mean a lot, cost you nothing, really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video. First, let's talk about the benefits. The main benefit of the BOA style boot is that it wraps your foot in a boa constrictor type manner. It sort of envelopes your foot and constricts it around it and applies pressure around the whole boot, sort of taking the path of least resistance as these cables become tight, tightening the areas that are loose and the areas that are tight, sort of remaining at a steady pressure. This has really opened up a new avenue for ski boot manufacturers to sort of design the shell of their boots and accommodate more of a constricting type fitment system versus a buckle boot, which Brian will demonstrate here.
So the buckle boots, in my opinion, after skiing them for about 20 years, really just kind of squeezes the top of your foot down and smashes it into the bottom of the boot, which can create pressure issues. And actually, a lot of times my feet fall asleep, start tingling.
Yeah, it creates more of like an oval shape where the retention system of BOA seems like a more rounded sort of compression. That's not to say that you can't make a buckle boot work for you. The boot fit is really the most important part of this, but I think that the BOA system does allow for a wider range of foot types to fit in a particular boot, and I think it just makes it easier for the boot fitter to get it fitting and comfortable for your foot. A more comfortable and secure fit equals more performance out on the slopes. So in that sense, I think a BOA boot can provide better performance, but it's most important just to have a boot that fits you properly. And I think BOAs, they allow for a little bit wider range of foot shapes to fit in their boots because of the retention system.
So if you don't know your foot shape, go get measured from a proper boot fitter, see what's right for you.
Secondary, it's easier to make fine adjustments while you're out skiing with the BOA retention system. Say you're about to go down a little bit more challenging trail and you want to just tighten up a click or two. You can literally just do 1 or 2 clicks just to get a little bit more snug fit, or perhaps it's cutting off some of your circulation on the chairlift and you're like, oh, now you need to loosen my bits a little bit when I get to the top. You can just release it a couple clicks as well. I think that's super beneficial out on the slopes when you just make minor adjustments, even just them packing out throughout the day, giving a couple more clicks. It's great.
Whereas to do small changes with standard buckle boot, unlatch, twist the buckle around with gloves on, and rebuckle.
Yep.
Bit of a difference.
Yep, definitely a bit of a difference there. So while you're standing in a lift line, you can actually just pull this buckle up, or the BOA system up. It releases all the tension, get back up to the top, tighten it back down. It just saves a step, but really the most important thing is just the fine tuning of doing a click or two here or there. So when you release the BOA system, which I just kind of mentioned on, like you're going through the lift line, you're skiing hard that day, the BOA retention system doesn't necessarily stick out any further than it does when it's actually compressed and popped in, which is very different than the buckles.
As you can see, mine are pretty torn and tattered from hitting things. Take some damage. I mean, yeah. It hasn't broken from that or anything like that, but you can tell.
Yeah, I think you're just more likely to snag them, especially when you're just walking around the lodge with your buckles undone, like on a railing or something like that. This is a minor inconvenience, but something else that I noticed with the BOA systems that I found to be a benefit.
Speaking of damaging the buckles, the reliability and durability of the BOAs, Chris has actually proven.
Yes, they're quite good. I was coming down this trail called Goat at Stowe. I slid down an icy waterfall cliff, and the BOA actual retention system here is designed to pop off. So if you were to hit this on something, it literally just comes off, and then you just pop it back into place, and you're good to go again. Whereas if you bend a boot, a buckle on a boot, it's not going to be quite the same experience. You're going to have to actually replace the buckle versus just kind of popping it back on.
You'd probably be skiing the rest of the day without that buckle or buckles.
Yes. I've broken or bent plenty of buckles. I've yet to actually break the BOA system. It just pops right back on. Super durable.
I'd say it was pretty easy to put back on.
Yeah, it was super easy to put back on. Well, we'll put a clip of me just slapping this back into place in the video so you can see that. It was a fun day.
Goat might have broke off the BOA. There we go, fixed it.
If you do actually end up breaking the cable, which I don't really know how you would do unless you really mess up somehow. I mean, this is a stainless steel cable. It's going to be really hard to cut with just even a ski edge. But I don't see how this would be a challenge to replace. Any shop should have the BOA system replacement parts in stock. You just unscrew, take the cable out, put on a new BOA system, reattach the anchor point, and just go from there. It really should be just as easy as swapping a buckle. So I wouldn't worry about serviceability on the mountain. So we've talked about the positives of the BOA boot. Now let's talk about the negatives. For me, it's much harder to get my foot into these boots than a typical buckle boot, just because they don't open as far. Just because of the retention system and the constrictor type, I feel like designers have made it a little bit more challenging to get on. So they just don't have quite the same size opening. You can see like I'm pulling this apart as big as I can here on the camera. That's the kind of space that you have to fit your foot in. So what I've kind of found to do that makes it easier to put this boot on is I come in with my foot, I point my toes towards the inside and my heel towards the outside, and that kind of creates a little bit bigger angle for me to get my foot into the boot. So it makes it a little bit easier. Without being able to do that, honestly, I don't think I'm getting these on a cold day. It's just so hard to put these boots on.
With the negatives that we talked about, that's definitely on the opposite side, a positive of the standard buckle boot. I mean, you can really just tear this thing open, and I honestly just put my foot straight into it. There's no fuss. Every time, 20 degrees out, 0 degrees out, it goes right in.
Yep, that might just be for my exact boot that I have here that they're a little bit more challenging to put on. I'm sure other manufacturers maybe have figured out a way around this, but I think in general, a buckle boot opens up further than a BOA boot, just by design.
So maybe if that's a big frustrating part for you, maybe a beginner skier or just getting into it, maybe you're definitely not looking for that. Maybe you're looking to just get in the boots without getting frustrated.
Yep, and the secondary main downside to BOA boots is they're roughly $50 to $100 more than a traditional buckle style boot. So if you're an entry level or intermediate skier, you're not looking for the most high performing, comfortable boot on the market, you can save yourself $100 by getting a traditional buckle style boot. So the final verdict, is a BOA boot an absolute game changer? No, it's not like going from straight skis to shaped skis, but I think it provides a noticeable improvement from buckle boots. Is that worth it to you?
My next pair of boots will be BOA. They might even be dual BOAs. I have to do some research, more importantly see what fits the best, but I am definitely interested in trying the BOA system based on how I ski, and what I intend to spend on my skiing gear.
That's right. If you value performance and you're gonna ski all day and you wanna be comfortable, you're really that hard charging, dedicated skier, then I think the $100 price point difference between a BOA boot and a traditional buckle boot is, it's not gonna make or break your ski season. So it's worth it to me. As they always say, you date your skis, but you marry your boots. That's gonna wrap up today's video. Thanks for tagging along. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, or if you at least enjoyed this video, hit like. Really appreciate it. We share skiing and mountain bike content. See you in a future video.